So a little background or behind the scenes on tech and flow and the vision. Within the financial world, there are a number of different institutions, banks, investment banks, hedge funds, mutual funds, insurance companies, private equity funds, private debt funds. All of these different institutions have products. Each one of these products has a tax efficiency associated with it, or in a way of accessing the dollars, or some kind of benefit, right? The reality is people talk a lot about this gap between the wealthiest people in the world and the poorest people in the world. And the reality is the biggest difference between those people is they've taken advantage of those opportunities. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a number of loopholes in our world, in just the investment world. There's something called an accredited investor and an unaccredited investor. What an accredited investor is an individual who's made more than $300,000 or has at least $1 million of liquid monies that are available to be invested. The way some of these institutions work that are providing above average stock market returns and or they're providing some additional added benefit or liquidity. The way that these entities usually have worked is that only those accredited investors, only the wealthy have the ability to access this. The issue with this gap, and if you look at what's actually occurring, statistics show that if you look at companies that have launched or IPO'd or offered at what's called an initial public offering, which is the first time they decide to offer the ability for anybody in the public to be able to buy a stock or buy a share of their company. If you look at those companies, there's been a significant rise of venture capital, which venture capital is nothing more than some private company or person decides to invest a sum of money into this company before they're publicly traded. Again, in the past, only those accredited investors had access to these types of things. However, there's been a number of reform and laws that have created the ability under crowdfunding laws and different laws surrounding that, where unaccredited investors now have access. Now, why do I say all of this? The reality is all of these financial vehicles and instruments are available to us. It's up to us to identify them and to determine which one of them help us reach our financial objective. That's where our team can help.